In addition to all the other superlatives you can throw at Elon Musk and Tesla, you would have to add fun. So right now you've got Grok going into the car and Grok on your computer and Grok on your app on your phone. And you can talk to Grok. You can talk about anything you want to talk about. You can have this conversation by text. You can have this conversation verbally. Or now you have anime characters or other kinds of characters, little furries that can be your companion so that you have somebody to talk to as opposed to just talking to the phone and talking to the computer. So this is great fun. I've been talking about for some time that I thought the Grok in the car would be a big deal. And we'll talk more about, we'll at least give you a couple of, one example of somebody who's already playing with it in their car. I'm not sure that you've got it on your car yet, but let me know in the comments below if you do and what you think so far. The stocks in general and Tesla are up after excellent PPI and bank earnings news. In fact, all the news is pretty good today. You pretty much can't find bad news. And you would think that all of the good news for Tesla as well as for the stock market would be causing the market and Tesla stock to go up a lot more than it is. But maybe, the market is kind of reaching as mentioned by Nick Gibbs last night, the market may be reaching some frothy territory where it's a little hard to get it to get much higher without a lot of good news. And I think we'll be seeing a lot more good news coming. Cathie Wood and ARK Invest have continued to scoop up Tesla in the stock market Tuesday. The EV giant is poised to announce second quarter earnings next week. Of course, we know this. Meanwhile, Tesla stock has formed a new valid base that is hitting resistance at key levels. Wood's ARK Invest and ARK Next Gen bought a combined 115,380 Tesla shares worth $35.86 million, roughly. That's according to Wood's ETF daily trade disclosures. And that comes after ARK Invest purchased nearly 60,000 shares last Friday. As of Wednesday, Tesla stock is the top holding in ARK Innovation ETF with a 9.78, that's her 10%, right? 9.78% weight. Meanwhile, Tesla ranks third in the ARK Next Gen Internet ETF with a 7.56 percentage. So then, of course, Tesla is reporting quarter two earnings and revenues a week from yesterday. Analysts expect Tesla's quarterly earnings to decline 23%, with sales falling around 14%, according to FactSet. The EV giant also has scheduled its annual shareholder meeting for November 6th. Tesla stock edged up around 0.3% prior to the opening bell. It's up more than that now. It's up a couple percent. Tesla stock advanced as high as 321 yesterday before reversing 1.9 to 310.78 at the close and then down to 309 last night. I don't know if it got lower than that, but that's what I saw. The Wall Street Journal reported Tuesday that Troy Jones, Tesla Vice President of Sales, Service, and Delivery in North America, has departed after 15 years with the EV giant. Well, maybe he was just tired after 15 years. I'm thinking maybe Elon eased him out because Elon is now head of North American sales as well as European sales. And so maybe this fella, what was his name? Troy Jones. Maybe Troy was tired. He's had a good run. I mean, sales were great for many, many years, but maybe it was time for him to try something else for a while. Tesla advanced 1% to $316.90 on Monday after declining 0.6% last week to $313. So we're still in the same range. That's still where we are, but we are up this morning. The stock rallied from late April to late May, in part because Elon Musk said he was backing away from politics. Since then, Tesla stock has tumbled and rebounded according to news cycles regarding various things. The stock initially soared after the robotaxi launch. However, overall stock is now down 3.5 since June 22nd. Tesla stock has a new base with a traditional 367.71. Boy, that's exact. Buy point, according to Market Surge. Shares have hit resistance at the 200-day and the 50-day moving averages if you follow these kinds of things. At Tuesday's stock market close, Tesla stock was up 30% since April 22nd quarter one conference call, and shares are down about 23% for the year and 36% below their all-time high, but it's up compared to a year ago. Tesla stock has a 21-day average true range of 4.45. The ATR metric available on IBD's market charting tool gauges the characteristic breadth of the stock's behavior. Stocks that tend to make large jumps or dives in daily stock market action, the kind that can trigger sell rules and shake investors out of a stock, have a high ATR. Stocks that tend to make more incremental moves have lower ATRs. Tesla stock has a 59 composite rating out of a best possible 99. The Cathie Wood stock also has a 79 relative strength rating and a 58 EPS rating. Now, that may be more than most of you wanted to know, but I think there's some of you out there who like that kind of thing, and I wanted to share. This is from Teslarati. Tesla's extended wheelbase Model Y, a brand new vehicle or brand new model, has been announced by the electric vehicle maker on its official Weibo page in China. At the same time, details of the upcoming vehicle have been listed in the China Ministries of Industry and Information Technology's new regulatory catalog. The new vehicle, the car will be called the Model YL. Images posted by the company show that the Model Y will feature a Model Y badge, stylized Y graphic. A teaser image of the vehicle taken from the side also emphasizes the extra space that was gained from his extended wheelbase. So this is from BLK. This is Zach, but he's known as Black Model 3, so BLKMDL3 on X. He says, after using Grok in my Tesla tonight, I am insanely impressed. I honestly went into it a bit skeptical on how useful it would actually be, but I asked it some real genuine questions and it nailed it every time. I asked it if I take my Tesla to San Francisco next week, where should I stop to charge it? Grok suggested the Tesla Lounge in Kettleman City and grab a meal at Harris Ranch. Also asked it political questions, and it was perfectly neutral, gave both sides, and asked me thoroughly what I thought, as well as how to shape my next question. I asked it for food suggestions for dinner with friends tomorrow night, and it gave me some solid recommendations for a fun night out. I also asked about where it was cheap to eat and the best pizza in the area, and it gave me exact places I would say, and a place I frequently go to. I asked Grok to give me a recommendation for best driving roads in the area, and it gave me the exact roads I'd go drive on, and specifically mentioned the car enthusiasts that frequent them. He says it's a 10 out of 10. It nailed it. It gave me a prompt to sign in, and the Tesla app gave me a notification to authenticate it, and it signed right into my account. Couldn't have been easier. So easy to have a conversation with, and it doesn't feel like it's AI at all. Absolutely blown away, and didn't expect it would be as much as I am. I don't know what that says. Can't wait to use it every single drive. Well done. And then Chuck Cook also chimed in and said that he had very much enjoyed his conversations with Grok in the car, talking about how different it is compared to talking to your phone. It's just a completely different experience. And especially, I guess you can get these anime characters on the screen. I'm not sure about that, but that was the implication. It seems odd that would be true. This is Randy Kirk. If you've liked what you've heard so far, or if you've hated what you've heard so far, still hit the like button. Please hit subscribe and then hit notify. Thank you so much. I'm up over 30,000 subscribers now. This is a major, number. The next real major number is 50. I need to get to 50,000 next. So if you can help me on that, that'd be great. And then hit the notify if you want to be reminded, of course, later on today. This is Wednesday. So what are we going to have later today? We will have Brian Wang on at 5 and change, maybe around there, 5 o'clock. And I don't know what's going to be at 7:45. I haven't decided yet. Okay, the producer price index for final demand was unchanged in June versus up 0.2% up expected. This is from the Bureau of Labor Statistics, of course. Final demand prices increased 0.3% in May and declined 0.3% in April. See Table A on adjusted, oh, never mind about that. Okay. And it rose 2.3 for the 12 months ended in June. That is a huge drop of 0.3% compared to last month. In June, a 0.3% advance in prices for final demand goods offset a 0.1% decrease in the index for final demand services. So you got a 0.3% increase in goods, okay, which is about 30% of the economy, and a 0.1% increase for final services, which is a much larger, like 65% of the economy. So that's why they balanced out to zero. Prices for final demand less foods, energy, and trade services were unchanged in June also. And that's much better than the increase of 0.2 that was forecast. And it had inched up 0.1% in May for the 12 months ended in June. That index was also down. Was also only up 2.5, which was a 0.2% drop from last month. So what did our buddy, the real EJ and Tony, have to say about all this? He says June in wholesale inflation, headline and core, came in at zero. But that's because May was revised upward. Without that slight revision upward, both headline and core rose 0.1. That would be month over month, bringing cumulative inflation since January to 0.1%, an annualized rate of just 0.2%. Mr. Powell, 0.2% on wholesale inflation for 6 months on the core number. The fact that there's no inflation, he says, at the wholesale level since January, and higher prices for tariffs have not thus been passed on by foreign producers. And to say otherwise is not to argue with me, but is to argue with your second grade math teacher. All right. It says here that from We Are Optimus, TIMUS. Elon Musk has confirmed that xAI's Grok 4, which he boldly claims is the smartest AI in the world, outperformed almost all graduate students in all disciplines. Does it say almost all? I thought it outperformed all graduate students in all disciplines simultaneously, and it will be integrated into Tesla's Optimus humanoid robots, not just into the cars. It will be an integral part of the robots. This isn't sci-fi. Musk plans to deploy a legion of 5,000 Optimus units by 2025, referencing Roman armies as inspiration. Their mission, take on the world's most dangerous, repetitive, and boring tasks. The implications are staggering. A fully embodied AI workforce, end-to-end automation of physical labor, a project Musk believes could surpass 10 trillion in value, eclipsing the iPhone's historical impact. And he's not mincing words about where he's headed. AI will likely exceed all human intelligence combined within 5 years. That's why he stresses it must be maximally truth-seeking, even as the pace of progress becomes, in his word, terrifying. We're offering an era where intelligence isn't just in the cloud, it's walking among us. So again, you just have to imagine, my favorite imagination on this is Grok is sitting right next to me over here on the table that's sitting next to me, or maybe he's got his own chair. Maybe he's just standing there kind of hand on hip, and we're having a conversation about whatever. And he's a friendly guy. He's charming. He or she, he can be a she. He could be a nothing, but we're going to probably anthropomorphize that robot. I think it's going to be an amazing deal. I can't wait. Industrial production increased 0.3% in June. What? Industrial production increased 0.3% in June after remaining unchanged in April and May, and a solid beat compared to the 0.1% expected. So up 0.3, expected 0.1. And then IP increased, the industrial production increased at an annual rate of 1.1%. In June, manufacturing output ticked up 0.1%, and the index for mining decreased. So it's interesting that mining is decreasing. You would think mining would be increasing right now. The index for utilities went up a lot, 2.8%. At 140% of its 2017 average, total IP in June was up 0.7% above its year earlier level. Capacity utilization moved up to 77.6, That is 2 percentage points below long-term expectation, around 79.6, but it's 0.2% better than expected. My goodness, everything's better than expected. The stock market is up, but not that much. Bank stocks continue to come in with beats. Morgan Stanley's quarterly earnings of $2.13 a share on $16.8 billion exceeded analyst estimates, top and bottom line. Earnings were lifted by strong performance from the company's wealth management unit, which saw revenues climb in the second quarter to $7.8 billion from $6.8. Morgan Stanley shares slipped, however, 0.4%. Bank of America reported second quarter earnings that were better than expected. The stock was rising 1.3. Net income for the second quarter increased 3% from a year earlier to $7.1 billion, and net interest income went up by 7%. The VIX is back under 17%. Truflation is only at 1.82. That's a little bit up yet from yesterday's 1.71. And Trump is up a bit, also back to 48%. So with all that good news, and quite frankly, I didn't see any bad news today on Tesla or the market. We have Tesla up 2.19. It was up a little bit more than that earlier, although it is headed up right now. So we're at 317.58 after bottoming at 309 last night. We have the Dow up 0.07. We've got the NASDAQ up 0.02, and we've got the S&P up 0.05. We've got the Magnificent Seven mostly down, but marginally, just small amounts. Google and Apple up, and the rest are down. We've got the Cathie Woods all up, except for PayPal down a little. I'm sorry, PayPal and TDOC are both down a little bit, but mostly down, and mostly, except for PayPal and TDOC, those are both headed down. The rest are headed higher. Okay, let's go ahead and go to the bonds, which are doing well today. So we've lost 4.4 basis points this morning, back down to 4.44. This is good, but it's a long way. It's a long way to tip a canary. Anyway, for those of you who are old enough to recognize that. We have got oil down also, 0.78 cents. This is what we really need to have happen. We need to have, again, Nick Gibbs talks about the fact that $60 is that breaking point. We need it to be sitting on 60, maybe dropping to 58, 59. I think we're going to head there. Natural gas up this morning, 1.31 at 3.57. So a little bit over midpoint in it. It's really 3 to 4 is where natural gas plays. And right now, as we're really in the middle. Gold down 5.9. Guess what? Are you ready? 3.33. Okay. Then we have copper, which has been, of course, where do we go? Copper, which has been at around 550, just barely under that right now. 549 down 1.51% right now. We have got the dollar. The headline says it's dropping versus the euro and the yen, and the information that I'm seeing though says it's up slightly, but not very much of in either direction. We have got Bitcoin back up 1767 today, 118,386. They're saying that this is probably, as again, to quote Nick Gibbs for the third time, after last night's increase. I'm sorry, last night he was talking about this bill in Congress that didn't look like it's going to pass. Now it's looking better again. Also, the $9 billion rescission, the first of the rescission bills, passed the Senate, heading over to the House. We'll see what happens there. Okay, so that's what you've got on all of those. Please remember, again, we've got what we got for sure is, or almost sure, nothing's for 100% sure, is we're going to have Brian Wang on to talk about the Good News Wednesday at around 5 o'clock. And then I'll figure out something really cool for the 7:45 hour. Don't know what that's going to be. Last night, Nick Gibbs, of course, you always want to watch Nick Gibbs. If you didn't watch him last night, watch him now. There's the card. And then let's go back for one final look at Tesla to see if it's still heading upward. 318 now, 318.08, and headed to the up and to the right. That's a good note to end on. So I will say it's been great talking to you.